We also have a very special guest. Hello and welcome in our workshop. Elias here, Team Red Bull Driftbrothers. We had an amazing season. We've been at so many events. F1 showrun in Belgrade, Bucharest, Goodwood Festival of Speed, M Festival in South Africa, in the Swiss mountains. So yeah, quite a lot of driving. Today we will look into what we can just maintain, that our cars keep running. And I would say just join us and see what we're up to. Many of you know our current cars, the BMW M4s G82s, running the S58 engine, straight 6, 3 liter, and we run a big single turbo Zono rotor you almost can't see, with some nice fresh air ALS that makes a lot of pops and bangs, and here the streamer pipe, the wastegate. When it comes to changing spark plug, it's very important that you have the correct torque, because what happens if you don't torque them right?
Well, if we over-torque them, it may cause damage to the threads in the engine, possibly damaging our engine itself. Or if we under-tighten them, we lose compression, we have a leak and don't produce that much power that we need.
So it's very important to have the right torque. In our case, for the M4, it's actually written on this one here, 23 Newton meters. If you don't know your torque, check your manual or go to the NGK webpage and check what torque is the correct one for your spark plugs. And would you like to change the spark plugs here now?
Would be my pleasure.
Okay, awesome. Then let's start.
Yeah, with that, the spark plug change is done. We are ready to go, ready to rip.
Awesome. However, we also have a very special guest back. So come with me. There it is. My old car, BMW E30. It started as a 325. Then it got a BMW V8 engine, the M62. And then we changed it a couple times. Also rebuilt it a couple times. And at the moment, it runs a Chevrolet Performance GM LSX 454, so in European terms, not 454 cubic inches, it's 7.4 liter natural aspirated engine, making around 600 horses and a lot of torque, over 800 Newton meters. So that's quite a nice engine, very simple, kind of old, but yeah, working great. So it's funny, on the one side with the M4s we have very modern technology, super new, super complex with direct injection and everything. Here we probably have one of the simplest engines that you can have, natural aspirated, port injected, very simple. It basically needs the cam trigger and the cam sensor, crank sensor, excuse me, crank and cam, and then it almost runs a bit of fuel and it's good.
So this behind me is the list, what's up to do, and we already did all the bolt checks. Here, there, everything. Put the sway bar back in again, because grip is not what we need for the next weekend. And what I already also did was the catch tanks. That's why I got you here, because I can't cross something out. As you see, still quite the list. For this we need parts. This will do Tony, this will do Tony as well. This is Ellie's job. The gearbox is already out, as you can see here. This is the old stuff. It's quite a bit dark in here. Gearbox sits there. This will get new oil as well. So the next thing I will do, we need spark plugs for this, and we need to change all the liquids. This is partially done. We checked the clutch. And I will go on with a brake fluid and diff oil. so we have most of our liquids then changed, and then we can start bolting the car back up together. We bleed the brakes now, and Stefan is doing something as well, which I don't know about, but he'll manage. To bleed the brakes alone, you need one of those machines. What it does, it sucks out the brake fluid out of the can, pressurizes it, and sends it into the reservoir right there, connected to the tube. Now, our front brake system is pressurized, and what we can do is now hook up one of these bleeder cans to the bleeder bolt up there, which I will do real quick. Place this one first, remove this one. We need to hook it somewhere, maybe there. It's really dark, so now we just open the bleeder screw, and you can see fluid comes out, fills up this can, and the fluid is already clear, but we let it drip for a while because we want to empty the reservoir as well. And we just now wait for a bit until it bled through, then do the other side, and that's bleeding brakes. Easiest job in the world. Sprich de Licht, Walter, sprich de Licht. Where did I place my light? We will place this one. So, next on the list, E-oil. I forgot what that was. Engine oil. Diff oil. So we do the diff oil now. This one is the differential. It's a, I don't know, 210 BMW differential. There is a drain plug, and back there is a fill plug. Hard to see, a bit dark, I know. So, good course of action is open the fill plug first, because if you can't open that plug, there's no need to drain it, because then your diff is empty and you are in a bigger kind of trouble. So you should open the fill plug first, then open the drain plug, drain it out into something like that, and that's about it. And then we refill it with the new motor, and we'll be happy forever because it will never break. Make sure it's properly in, give it a good yank, take it out and hope that's properly fresh. Like, the oil change may not have been necessary, but it's nice to know that we have fresh oil in the whole car, because it was sitting for a while. Oh, there it starts to get a bit darker on top, so maybe it was a good call.
Alright, so we have a new day. As you can see, I already got the transmission in. I changed the fluids, like the transmission oil, so that's all fresh, just like the engine oil. I completed the EcuSum system, so now we have a working solenoid again, so that's great. What we're gonna do now is put in the drive shaft. Alright, we are done, under the car at least. Up next, we will get the car down, get in the front, under the hood, and do some more maintenance stuff. So now we go into the ignition. Because of the V8, we have the common problem that the spark plugs, especially, and the wires, more specifically, are really close to our headers, which means they get a lot of heat. So what we are gonna do is check all the cables from top to bottom, look for any cracks in the insulation, make sure all the wires are still good. Pull the plugs, look at the plugs, maybe figure out something there. If we have carbon deposits, if they are oily, anything like that, which could tell us something about the condition of the engine. And we will replace all the plugs. Because of the maintenance, you should change your plugs regularly so your engine stays healthy. You make all the power you're supposed to, which in the competition car is really important, that we have the power we are trying to make, but also in the street cars, really important, we wanted a smooth running engine, and spark plugs are number one go-to maintenance to make sure it stays like that. We can see the condition of the cable is mostly good, it's still soft. We have a little bit of a crack here and there, but nothing major. But the problem we have right here is right at the base, where it's the hottest, right next to the header. We have a little injury on the cable. You can see the rubbers through, so we will replace this one for sure. Still have the others to check. Your standard plug, you can see it's a little on the bright side, so it ran a little bit lean. It means it got quite hot. This can happen in the competition car. We are revving into the limit all the time. It can also mean the tune is a little bit on the lean side. We are burning hotter. On the other hand, if it's really, really dark, there's a lot of carbon deposits. It can mean the tune is a little bit rich. Maybe we have to adjust that. We also look for the gap, so this plug wasn't abused that much. We can see a little bit of oil on the threads, but nothing to be too concerned about.
So you already saw the old one, and yeah, one can see on this side it's rather brown, and in the other it's black. Also the anode in the middle is, you can already see some small wear on that. So this doesn't look too bad, but still, as we had some small issues with the engine, I got new ones here, NGK. This one brand new. It's specifically for this engine, so it's a TR6iX, and this one came out when I just typed in that we have an LS engine in our E30. So I just looked for a Corvette, for example, with this engine, and this is the recommendation. And the iX actually stands for iridium, so this material here, and the material is very, very beefy, so it just starts melting at 2000, almost 500 degrees Celsius, which is super high. So the tip should never see temperatures like that. And with that material, the spark plug just lasts way longer and keeps also a better spark over the lifespan of the spark plug. So yeah, we will put in 8 new ones of those, and to just make sure that everything runs smoothly after we've done all the maintenance, we will go to the dyno and just have a power run done there and see if the car makes the power that it used to do, or if there are any hiccups. But I'm quite sure once we changed the spark plug, we checked the wires and the coils, normally it should really work, because yeah, if you have the fuel, the air, the spark, then you have an ignition and everything should run fine.
Today we threw in the transmission, changed the fluids, put in the drive shaft, the exhaust, completed the oil change. We changed the spark plugs, we changed some of the wires, filled up the engine with oil, and right about now I'm gonna plug in all of the spark plugs, put on these heat protecting socks so the new wires are protected. After that, we are basically done. One dyno run to make sure everything is okay. We have power and we are good to go, ready for the event.
We are at BHP Motorsport and we have our E30 already on the dyno. We had some issues before with misfiring, that's why we put some attention to the spark plugs and the plug wires, and now we want to find out if everything works. Just done the dyno runs, everything looks good with the E30. Luckily made some decent power, that's very solid without nitrous, so very happy with that. So we saved all the data, saved the log file so that we also can look afterwards. But first off, super happy, no misfires, good power, good torque, running very, very nice and safe. This is most important. We adjusted the fueling a tiny bit, but it was almost perfect. So super happy, no misfires, car is running great, and now it's ready for the next event.